welcome to your Friday edition of Wasatch Weekends. I'm your host, Maddie Evans, and I cannot believe we are already 7 days into April. I swear, we blink and we just skip forward in time. We're getting so close to the end of Park City Mountain being open, but our snow totals this year are so impressive. We have over 600 inches of snow up on Park City Mountain. We have over 150 inches as our base depth right now. So if you are getting out there to ski or ride up on Park City Resort, well then you're not gonna have a bad time because that snow is gonna be here for quite some time. This is also the longest season that we're gonna have since 1993. So we hope you get out there and you enjoy Park City Mountain, as it's going to be a great end of the year, and we've still got a few weeks left for you to get out there and enjoy it. Now we've got some great things for you to participate in here in our community. If you have yet to go check out Park City Film this winter season, well then we highly recommend that you do so because they've got some great things taking place. Now there's a showing tonight of The Quiet Girl over there, and you can go online to parkcityfilm.org to buy your tickets. Or if you wanted to have a nice mellow night at home, well then there's some new episodes, a new season of Gold Rush, and it's Parker's Trail. So we're going to introduce you to Katy Wang from Park City Film. We're also going to introduce you to Parker from Gold Rush because it's a ton of fun to hear his journey, his story, and what he has going on. Now you can tune into Wasatch Weekends every Friday, Saturday, and Sunday starting at 7 a.m. That way we can get you in the know with some great things taking place in and around our community here in the Wasatch Back, and we love having the opportunity to do so for you. We're going to take a look at that local weather forecast though right now.
This resort report is brought to you by Sun and Ski Sports, your new mountain sports headquarters.
Hi there, I'm Mitch from Sun and Ski Sports Park City, and I'm super excited to tell you all about our new Monster Markdown sale that's going to be going on until April 17th. It includes 20% off ski and snowboard equipment. This includes boots, skis, and bindings. During this event, you'll find great deals on all your favorite snowboard brands, such as Burton, Capita, and Arbor. You'll also find great deals on all of our top ski brands, such as K2, Armada, Atomic, and Nordica. Start planning for your adventure by checking out the Sun and Ski Sports Monster Markdown Ski Sale. Let's not forget about our full-service ski and snowboard rental shop. If you're taking your own gear, make sure to swing by for a wax or a tune-up. We also do destination rentals. If you're hitting the resorts outside of Utah, say you're heading to Colorado, California, or New Hampshire for spring break, visit sunandski.com/rentals to reserve your ski or snowboard package. Check out the deals on top brands like the North Face, Patagonia, Descent, Billabong, and more. With gear, apparel, and accessories on sale for men, women, and children, you'll find everything you need for the whole family at our Monster Markdown sale. Visit our store in Park City or our website, sunandskisports.com. Stay adventurous, Utah, at Sun and Ski Sports.
Are you looking for something to do this weekend? Well, then you should make your way over to Park City Film, as The Quiet Girl is playing all weekend long, and we've got Katy Wang joining me first thing this morning. Good morning, Katy.
Good morning. Great to be here. Thanks for having me.
I'm always so excited to have you. Now, I just watched the trailer for The Quiet Girl, and this movie seems like it's going to pull on some serious heartstrings.
Absolutely. Well, it's based on a short story, an award-winning short story called Foster that was featured in the New Yorker, which I actually happened to read a couple of years ago. And so I was thrilled when I found out that it was made into a feature-length film. This film is from Ireland. It was nominated for an Academy Award for Best International Film. And it's really the story of a young girl who is quiet, as the name of the title of the film suggests, but kind of comes from this very dysfunctional family. She's sort of neglected. She's a very large Irish family. Her mother's about to have another baby. baby, I think like the ninth baby in the family. And so her parents decide to send her to live with some relatives for a couple of months. And she's never met these people. She doesn't know anything about them. And she just has the clothes on her back when she shows up at their doorstep. And it's just this beautiful story of kind of coming into her own, of how this family embraces her into their hearts, and how she finds her voice. And so it's just this beautiful kind of story with just emotion, as you say, but just character development. And what's interesting, another kind of interesting component to me anyway, was that because the film is from Ireland, the film is in Gaelic and in English. And I don't think most people have heard Gaelic spoken very frequently in films. So it's interesting to have that extra component too, of just kind of the culture and just kind of immersing yourself in, Irish culture and Irish heritage.
Which, I mean, in the trailer, I was like, I can't tell exactly what language this is. And I was like, this is like stumping me. And so I went through and read a little bit about it, and they do such a good job. And one of the quotes that's in there really stands out to me. And I'm not going to give it away because I think people should come and enjoy this film. And you guys do such a good job of bringing in these international films that pull on people's heartstrings. And so I didn't know that it came from a short story called Foster.
Yeah, no, and it's fantastic. I mean, you read that story and it's just so kind of, just enrapturing. You can immerse yourself into that story, and then to see how they brought it to life on the screen, where it's, there's so much nuance to it, right? She is this quiet, soft-spoken young girl, and the family that she's kind of, being fostered with, for lack of a better word, it's not like there's some exuberant family. So it's just, there's a very quiet beauty to all of it, and how the relationships develop, and, what happens, within families. Each family has its own kind of complexity and intricacies that one has to navigate, and just how do you move from your own birth family into kind of an adopted family, and what does that mean for the rest of your life? Like, how does that set the tone for who you are and how you can express yourself? I mean, again, there's so many layers that one can get into, that you think of just this, 3-page story, 4-page story, how it just blossomed into this full-length film is pretty amazing.
The psychological aspect of family dynamics is so fascinating, because there are these circles that people get into, and they're known as these like trauma circles. And in order to break that pattern, you have to step out, which totally puts a wrench in the family dynamic. And I feel like you can see that within this film as she leaves her bad home to go to these incredible people.
Right, absolutely. And just, what does that mean? Does she stay? Does she go? Where does she go next? I mean, there's all these things that kind of plants the seeds as you're, kind of following the story, and you don't know how it's going to end. And for me, that's always the marker of a great film and a great story, is that it's not obvious where the ending is going to be. And so the journey that gets you there, of course, is fascinating. And then, kind of where you end up in the end is someplace that perhaps you didn't expect. Perhaps you had an inkling as you were going along. I think each person brings their own different perspective to that, but you were thinking about it along the way of like, where are we going? Where is this journey going to take me? You're happy you're along for the ride, but you don't quite know where it's going to end up. So I always am looking for stories like that intrigue you, that have some complexity and different layers, and just something that you can take away and talk about at the end of the film.
And so obviously when you were making this decision to bring this film in, Foster played a huge role in that. Is that correct?
Oh, absolutely. I mean, it's a film, and it's just funny. I mean, it's one of those kind of serendipitous things that I had read the story because I love the New Yorker and I love literature, and just loved the story and found it just kind of stuck with me. And then it was, as films were coming out and the nominations and all of that, and I thought, oh, wait, The Quiet Girl. I know this story. I mean, I've read the short story that it was based on, and I had no idea that it was going to be made into a film. So it's just kind of one of those happy serendipitous moments, that something that I found so captivating as a written story came, into the visual representation. So that doesn't always happen, doesn't often happen, but when it does, it's always exciting.
And have you seen this film start to finish yet?
I have. It is amazing.
I would imagine. Just the trailer was so captivating, and at the end there's that scene where she's like running towards the car, and I was like, oh no, like I have to see what happens now, because you're not sure whose car she's running towards, because you just get those perfect little tidbits to not only capture you in, but then keep you wanting more, so that you have to see the whole film when you watch the trailer.
Absolutely. Absolutely. You want to stay and see it on the big screen, right? I mean, this is definitely one of those films that's so immersive, but there'll be so many things that you'll want to talk about at the end with your friends, with your neighbors, random people that are in the theater that you're leaving the theater with. There's just a lot to kind of unpack and digest and think about, well, where did that happen? Why did that happen? Where are they going? I mean, again, there's just so many breadcrumbs along the way. And then where does it go once you leave the theater?
Which I think is one of the coolest things that you guys do at Park City Film is you bring together this community and you spark these intellectually and emotionally stimulating conversations around these films that you bring in that do pull on your heartstrings. Like, I can't stop thinking about EO only because I have this thing about watching animals go through any hardship that it like crushes me. And so sometimes I will catch myself like, that poor donkey. And then I'm like, and then he had this like miraculous life that he ended up getting to live. And so I think that you guys do a really good job on creating these conversations.
Absolutely. And that's kind of what we are always looking for as we curate these films, or what are those films that will be, sometimes they're kind of just entertaining and fun and light and kind of levity and, humor. Other times they're a little deeper, more thought provoking. I mean, there's always something that will capture your intellect, right? There's always going to be that underlying storyline that you are going to think about and talk about and digest, whether you are laughing as you were watching the film or whether you are crying or you are just kind of pondering, that's kind of up to the different story themes. But there's always some emotion that comes along with these films. And that's what's the joy is of curating them in the way that we do, is that we do try to balance them out so that you are just kind of experiencing different things. And it's not always the same note, but it's, a different mix. Our film, the following week is Linoleum, which is completely different film, right? And it's more of a comedy and it has a comedian starring in it. And it's, again, thought provoking, but, more fantastical. This is obviously a more grounded, kind of quieter film that's more closely used to real life and experiences that many of the people in the audience may have had or know people that have had. But that's what's so fun about just bringing in these different stories and, having the timing that we do, that, it's kind of like a box of chocolates. You never know quite what you're going to get, but they're always slightly different and always tasty and delicious at the end of the day.
And you guys allow for great underwriters to help you bring in some of these fantastic films, and that's how you guys do what you do for the community. And so let's talk about how people can get involved if they're interested in being part of the wonderful community that Park City Film has created.
We have a couple of options. So if you go to parkcityfilm.org, you can click on our membership tab, become a member of Park City Film. It is our membership drive in the month of April. So we always are incentivizing folks to come and join our tribe of independent film loving folks. Memberships start at $55 and last for a year. So lots of fun opportunities to engage with special events, get discounted tickets, and help support us year round. We also have underwriters for our film, and that's under the support tab as well. So you can be a weekend underwriter and help bring in great films like The Quiet Girl. And then, of course, now it's grant season. So we have a couple of grants that we're writing right now. And one of the opportunities from our grant supporters is our dinner and a movie program and our hotel and a movie program. So if you go to parkcityfilm.org, if you select any number of the films, The Quiet Girl or other films we have coming up as you go to buy your tickets, you can see the list of restaurants that you can patronize. If you spend $50 at one of our partner restaurants, you get 2 free tickets to Park City Film. Or if you go to parkcitylodging.com and use our special code that's on the website, during a certain time period from mid-April to the end of June, you'll also get free tickets to Park City Film. So we're trying to partner, as much as we are trying to get support for our films, we are also trying to give back to the community at the same time. So how can we support? We're part of this large ecosystem, the restaurants, the hotels, the other small businesses in town that make this such a great place to visit, to live, to explore. And, we all have to work together to make sure that happens. So we have lots of opportunities for you to directly support us or support our partners, which in turn then supports Park City Film through the help of our grantors. So lots of things to look forward to and to engage with at parkcityfilm.org. You can check it all out or drop us an email. We'll be happy to talk to anyone more specifically about how they could get more involved with what we do.
Well, not only is that all such great information, and now I'm definitely going to be looking at where I can go enjoy a delicious meal and then come and get to see a movie afterwards. That sounds like the best deal possible. But people can also maybe just volunteer their time. If they don't have the means to give you guys that funding, they can help you by coming and maybe running the popcorn bar.
Absolutely. And that is immensely valuable. Just having that volunteer labor. I mean, one, of course, that's then a cost that we don't have to incur to have a staff person to do that, although we do have some paid staff members. But it also just adds another level of community to what we do, right? It's like to have your neighbor, to have your friend making your popcorn and helping you out with, fresh baked cookies from Auntie M's. I mean, all of that just adds to the atmosphere that we like to create at Park City Film. So we do have a volunteer tab on our website. You can check out our schedule of upcoming films. Shifts usually last about 90 minutes, and you get free tickets to come see the movie that night or come back and see a film another time. But it is enormously helpful to us, and we do love our volunteers. And you get to learn that most important skill for your resume, making popcorn. So that's not something that most people can say they know how to do. It is a valuable skill that we like to share the love on that one.
And you guys have a bring your own bowl rule, which will save you money and allow you to make your popcorn as you please, since you guys do have the best popcorn bar in Park City.
Absolutely. Fresh melted butter, different toppings, everything from Parmesan cheese to hot sauce to nutritional yeast. We always like to see what kind of bowls people bring. Some of them are enormous. Some of them are beautifully hand-turned wooden bowls that are antiques. But we just love to see the variety and the creativity that people get to express through their different bowls. And of course, you get $1 off your popcorn if you bring your own bowl and let your footprint on the environment, which of course we all appreciate.
Which is so huge and such a great step that you guys are making here in the community to minimize that carbon footprint. Now, if people are interested in coming to see the film, what's the best way for them to buy tickets?
So you can go to parkcityfilm.org. Showtimes are Friday and Saturday at 7, and then again Sunday at 6. If you want to buy your tickets in advance, we always welcome that, but you're absolutely welcome to buy your tickets at the door. We do open the box office an hour before showtime. We have a very large theater, as you can see behind me, about 450 seats. So if you have a last minute change of plans or just have finally convinced your friends that you need to go see The Quiet Girl together, come on over. We'd be happy to help you out, grab a seat, get some great fresh buttered popcorn, and enjoy an incredible film with us. So we'd love to see everyone over at the Jim Santee Auditorium this weekend.
Katy, thank you so much for taking the time to chat with us, giving us all this great information, and thank you for bringing the community together in such a unique way. We love to hear you talk about the passion, obviously, that you share for the film industry, but also these incredible topics that you bring to allow people to emotionally connect in such a unique way.
Thanks for having me.
Make sure that you check out Park City Film. You can go to parkcityfilm.org. That way you can see the list of partners of places that you might want to go and explore to eat. And that way you can not only support that business, but you can support Park City Film as well. Check out parkcityfilm.org for some more information. We're going to take a short break, and when we come back, we've got more of the show, so stay tuned. Do you love watching action-packed shows? Well, then we've got you covered, because Gold Rush is back with a new season, and we've got Parker Schnabel joining us. Parker, thank you so much for taking some time out of your very adventurous life and chatting with us.
Thanks for having me, Maddie.
Now let's talk about this new endeavor, because I was reading online that you've been in some really scary situations making your way down to Peru just because you're so immersed in such a different environment than what you're used to.
Yeah, and I think I'm a bit of a glutton for punishment because I do really enjoy it, and I love meeting new people. I love seeing new cultures. Peru is a really interesting, fascinating country. It has so much history with the Incan empires and the amount of that's still around, and we met a lot of the descendants of the Incan people and had a really kind of informative experience from a historical standpoint. But then, you get further and further away from civilization, and the dangers are definitely there. Jungles are some of my favorite environments, but part of that is just like the brutality and the competition for life in a jungle is more than anywhere else on the planet, I think.
Which is so incredible, because you went from Alaska, which, I mean, I've never been there, but from watching your show in the past, it's a little bit treacherous there, to completely switching environments to the jungle, where you have completely different animals that could be hunting you as prey. Now, what's it like getting all of that equipment from point A to point B into the jungle to make it work so you can start your mining operation?
So we were doing more sort of like grassroots exploration in South America, and part of the reason for that is exactly what you said. Like, moving equipment around is really challenging, and so we usually kind of just like beg or borrow for equipment. I usually say beg, borrow, or steal, but I felt like that was probably not the right thing to say. But we just like, if we end up in an area where we want to do exploration, which happens in this show multiple times, then we'll, try to source local equipment and be able to stay nimble, right? That's one of the biggest things on a job like that is the more things you're dragging around, the less areas you'll see because the logistics of moving from point A to point B are so difficult. So we go in pretty lean and mean so that we're nimble and can move around easily and have a crew that fits that bill. They're one of the only film crews that has kind of that capability of doing extended periods of time totally off grid, to the point where one of our producers is like packing a generator around on his back so that we can charge batteries for the cameras so that we can stay out where there's no power or any sort of infrastructure at all for extended periods of time. And we'll do that for weeks on end at times where we're totally off grid.
Which is so crazy to think about now. You started mining at the age of 5 years old with your grandfather. Did you see this as your trajectory for life, and do you love it, or do you have any regrets in kind of making this your entire empire?
I'm still young. I'm 28. I turned 29 this summer. I never, I gave up on sort of a normal life, which is good. I feel really lucky to have been able to do that. I never went to college. I was going to until I had an opportunity to go mining in the Yukon, and I took that and ran with it. And I've really enjoyed the process. No, I feel super lucky, and I have an amazing team when we travel on these shows. It's an amazing team when I'm mining in the Yukon. I have an amazing group of people that work with me up there. And no, I feel really lucky, and I really enjoy what I'm doing. And I've always said, a lot of people ask me, well, how long are you going to do this for? And I always say, well, I'll do it as long as I'm really enjoying it. And right now, that's still 100% the case.
Which I think is such a cool job that you have, and kind of a scary job that you have, because not only are you at risk of everything that's around you, but your job is really intense, and you guys put yourselves in some very scary situations.
Yeah, and then having a film crew, they're the happiest when you're the unhappiest. So there's like an inherent sort of conflict there where your worst days are their best days. And that's a struggle. It's a struggle having a camera crew following you around. Last year we did, I was on camera all year. We did a show in New Zealand, January to March, and then we had mining season April to October, and then Peru, November and December. So it was, it's very intense. It's very busy.
And how do you maintain this work-life balance? Because your life is so on the go and so fast-paced. What do you do to kind of keep yourself grounded a little bit?
Yeah, no, there's no work-life balance. It's just work for the most part, but it's all right because that's fine if you're with good people and you have good challenges, and you know what you're doing it for. And if you enjoy that process, then that's okay. And I think that burnout is something that is not something to take lightly. I think it's a very serious issue. It can really screw up somebody's career, and I'm aware of that. I try to get time away from it all, which is it gets harder and harder as you have more and more going on. But yeah, work-life balance is something I'm not particularly good at.
Well, hopefully you can find some time to get a little bit better, do something nice for yourself. Now, if people are interested in watching the new season of Gold Rush Parker's Trail, where can they find it?
So it is airing on Discovery Channel Friday nights at 9. Actually, the season premiere is this Friday, April 7th, I think. Yeah, April 7th at 9.
Parker, thank you so much for taking the time to chat with us, giving us all this great information, and thanks for all the wonderful entertainment that you bring.
Thanks for having me.
Make sure that you check out the Discovery Channel Friday nights at 9 to see Parker's new adventure, because it's a ton of fun to follow along with where he is and what he's doing with this incredible mining journey that he has started. We're going to take a short break, and when we come back, we've got more of the show, so stay tuned.
This resort report is brought to you by Sun & Ski Sports, your new mountain sports headquarters.
We want to thank you so much for tuning into your Friday edition of Wasatch Weekends. We love getting to be here for you every Friday, Saturday, and Sunday, so keep tuning in because we love to bring you all the great information of what's taking place in and around our community. There's a ton of fun things for you to get out there and do, and I'm torn between Park City Film and watching the new season of Gold Rush, and so we hope that this gives you some great options for you to get out there and do some fun things on your Friday night. Make sure that you tune in tomorrow. We'll be here starting at 7 a.m. for your Saturday edition of Wasatch Weekends. I've been your host, Maddie Evans, and I'll see you tomorrow morning.